Today, the Department of Justice announces the takedown of the dark web market Alpha Bay.
Agents shut down an illegal website known as a billion-dollar marketplace for narcotics. The FBI arrested Ross William Ulbrich yesterday in San Francisco.
Well, a major bust on the dark web. The largest and longest-running illegal marketplace in all the world is shut down.
An international team of authorities have seized Silk Road 2.0, the latest iteration of the relatively well-known underground drug trafficking website.
When one head gets chopped down, two more grow back in its place. When one cartel boss falls, another rises, often a more sinister force. It's a relentless game of cat and mouse, a cycle of pursuit and evasion that seems to have no end. This is also the chilling reality of the dark web, a labyrinth of encrypted connections that link hackers, addicts, and suppliers in a ceaseless cycle. It's a realm where the illicit thrives, a marketplace for endless pornography, drugs, and unthinkable services. Welcome to the abyss of the internet, where the unseen becomes visible and the unthinkable becomes reality. In the digital world lies a protocol, the dark web. To truly grasp the vastness and complexity of the dark web, one must first understand the structure of the internet itself. Picture an iceberg. The visible tip jutting out above the water's surface represents the surface web, the part of the internet most of us interact with on a daily basis. This is where you'll find familiar sites like Google, Facebook, and Wikipedia. According to a study by the University of California, Berkeley, the surface web contains about 1 billion individual documents, and it's growing by several million pages per day. But much like an iceberg, the majority of the internet lies unseen beneath the surface. This is the deep web, a vast digital ocean that makes up about 90% of the internet. The deep web consists of all the pages that are not indexed by standard search engines. This includes things like government databases, banking records, medical records, academic databases, and even things as mundane as emails and social media profiles. It's estimated that the deep web is 500 times larger than the surface web, containing over 550 billion individual documents. Now, nestled within the murky depths of the deep web, lies the dark web. It's a small fraction of the deep web, but it's the part that captures our imagination and fuels our fears. The dark web is intentionally hidden and inaccessible through standard web browsers. It requires special software, the most common being Tor, the onion router, to access. This software allows users to browse the dark web anonymously, hiding their identities and activities from surveillance and tracking. The dark web is like the Wild West of the internet, a lawless frontier where anonymity rules and almost anything goes. It's a place where whistleblowers can leak information without fear of retribution, where political dissidents can communicate safely in oppressive regimes, and where ordinary citizens can protect their privacy from the prying eyes of corporations and governments. But with this freedom and anonymity comes a dark side. The dark web is also a haven for illegal activities. It's a marketplace for illicit goods like drugs, weapons, and stolen data. It's a breeding ground for cybercrime, from hacking and fraud to more sinister crimes like human trafficking and child exploitation. The dark web is a complex and contradictory place, a reflection of the internet and indeed humanity itself. It's a place of freedom and oppression, of innovation and crime, of good and evil. It's a place that challenges our notions of morality, legality, and privacy in the digital age. It's a place that forces us to confront the dark side of our digital lives and to question the price we pay for the conveniences of the modern world. In the following sections, we'll dive deeper into this digital abyss, exploring the good, the bad, and the downright terrifying aspects of the dark web. So buckle up, because this journey is just getting started. To understand the origins of the dark web, we must travel back in time to the early days of the internet. The internet, as we know it today, was born out of a military project. In the 1960s, during the height of the Cold War, the US Department of Defense established the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, ARPANET, the precursor to the modern internet. The goal was to create a decentralized network that could survive a nuclear attack, where communication could continue even if parts of the network were destroyed. Fast forward to the 1990s, and we see the birth of the dark web. It was created by the United States government, specifically the Naval Research Laboratory, with the development of the Onion Router, or Tor. The purpose of Tor was to protect US intelligence communications online. It works by bouncing encrypted data around a network of servers globally, known as nodes, which masks the user's identity and location. In the early 2000s, the Tor project was released to the public. This allowed anyone to use this tool to maintain anonymity online. The intention was to enable people living under repressive regimes to communicate safely and to protect the identity of whistleblowers. It was also released to the public due to the very nature of its purpose.
Its government can't simply run an anonymity system for everybody and then use it themselves only, because then every time a connection came from it, people would say, oh, it's another CIA agent looking at my website, if those are the only people using the network. So you need to have other people using the network so that they blend together.
In essence, if the US government wished to leverage its creation, it would have to make it available to the world. This would serve to decentralize the network and effectively conceal the identity of the original sender. However, this powerful tool for anonymity was quickly adopted by those with more nefarious intentions. The creation of Tor marked the birth of the dark web. With the ability to browse the internet anonymously, a new realm opened up that was hidden from the prying eyes of law enforcement and surveillance agencies. This realm was perfect for those who wanted to operate outside of the law. The dark web quickly became a hub for illicit trade. The first and most infamous of these dark web marketplaces was the Silk Road. Launched in 2011, the Silk Road was an online black market, best known for selling illegal drugs. Transactions on the Silk Road were made using Bitcoin, which further ensured the anonymity of its users.
The FBI calls it the most sophisticated criminal marketplace on the internet. Thousands of drug dealers used it to sell drugs and completely hide their identities. This morning, the FBI says the 29-year-old seemingly clean-cut entrepreneur was living a secret life as a digital drug lord, operating an online black market bazaar called Silk Road, often referred to as the eBay for drugs. Here's an online commercial. Now Ross Ulbricht is in federal custody, arrested Tuesday, and the site he allegedly ran shut down after a 2-year undercover operation.
By the time the FBI shut it down in 2013, it had made over $1.2 billion in revenue. The closure of the Silk Road was a significant event, but it didn't mark the end of the dark web. On the contrary, it was just the beginning. New marketplaces quickly sprang up to replace the Silk Road, and the dark web continued to grow and evolve. As we delve deeper into the shadows of the dark web, we will confront some of its most disturbing aspects. While it's crucial to shed light on these realities, I want to assure you that all sensitive content will be completely blurred out. We will touch upon topics such as violence and child exploitation, not to sensationalize them, but to underscore the severity of what lurks in these hidden corners. I must stress that viewer discretion is strongly advised. This journey is not for the faint of heart, but it's a necessary exploration if we are to fully understand the breadth and depth of the dark web. Today, the dark web is a vast and complex network, home to a diverse range of activities, both legal and illegal. It's a place of contradictions, a place of light and shadow, a place that reflects the best and worst of what the internet, and indeed humanity, has to offer. In the next sections, we'll delve deeper into this hidden world, exploring the many facets of the dark web from the morally grey to the downright sinister. Anonymity is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can protect individuals from oppressive governments, safeguard freedom of speech, and provide a safe space for whistleblowers. On the other hand, it can also provide a shield for those who wish to engage in illegal activities. The dark web, with its promise of anonymity, has become a haven for such activities. One of the most notorious aspects of the dark web is its illicit marketplaces. Following the footsteps of the Silk Road, numerous other black markets have sprung up. These markets deal in a wide range of illegal goods and services. Drugs, firearms, counterfeit money, stolen credit card details, and even hired assassins can be found if one knows where to look. For instance, Alphabay, one of the largest dark web markets that was shut down in 2017, had over 400,000 users and dealt in everything from drugs to stolen data. The sheer scale of these operations is staggering and highlights the extent of the criminal activity that the dark web facilitates. But the dark web is not just about illegal trade. It's also home to some of the most disturbing content on the internet. There are sites dedicated to extreme violence, hate speech, and even child exploitation. These sites exist in the darkest corners of the dark web, hidden away but nonetheless present. The anonymity provided by the dark web allows these sites to exist, away from the scrutiny of law enforcement. The dark web also plays a significant role in cybercrime. Hackers often use the dark web to sell or exchange stolen data. In 2019, a massive trove of data containing over 770 million email addresses and 21 million unique passwords was found on a popular hacking forum on the dark web.
On a folder full of hundreds of millions of email addresses and passwords. They've been collecting them since 2008, taking advantage of every data breach. The folder is called Collection Number 1, and we know about it because someone with good intentions got a hold of the link and put all of the email addresses and passwords into a database for us to see.
This incident, known as the Collection #1 data breach, is just one example of the scale of cybercrime facilitated by the dark web. Moreover, the dark web has become a breeding ground for cybercriminals. There are forums where hackers can exchange tips and techniques, marketplaces where hacking tools and services are sold, and even universities where aspiring hackers can receive training. The anonymity of the dark web also makes it an ideal platform for terrorists. Groups like ISIS have used the dark web to recruit members, plan attacks, and spread propaganda. The ability to operate away from the watchful eyes of law enforcement makes the dark web a powerful tool for these groups. In the face of these disturbing realities, law enforcement agencies worldwide are working tirelessly to combat the illegal activities on the dark web. However, the very nature of the dark web, with its decentralization and anonymity, makes this a daunting task. This brings us to a profound moral question. Is it worth tolerating the existence of such abhorrent corners of the web to maintain our anonymity and privacy online? For me, the answer leans towards yes, as I believe the benefits of online privacy outweigh the negatives. However, this is a personal stance and not everyone will share the same viewpoint. Given that networks like Tor may represent the future of internet privacy, it's crucial that we engage in these ethical debates. Despite the grim picture painted by the dark web's illicit activities, it's important to remember that not everything within its depths is malevolent. Amidst the shadows, there are glimmers of light, instances where the dark web's anonymity and privacy have been used for positive, even life-saving purposes. For instance, in countries with oppressive regimes, the dark web can serve as a lifeline. It provides a platform for free speech, allowing citizens to voice their dissent without fear of retribution. Activists can organize protests, journalists can report the truth, and ordinary citizens can access uncensored news. The dark web in these cases becomes a beacon of freedom in an otherwise stifling environment. Consider the case of the Arab Spring, where the internet played a crucial role in mobilizing protests. In countries like Egypt and Tunisia, where the government had tight control over the media, the dark web provided a safe space for activists to organize and share information. Similarly, whistleblowers often turn to the dark web to expose corruption, fraud, and other wrongdoings. SecureDrop, for instance, is a dark web service that allows whistleblowers to share information with journalists securely and anonymously. It has been used by news organizations like The Guardian, The New York Times, and ProPublica to receive sensitive information that might have otherwise remained hidden. The dark web also hosts sites that aim to counteract some of the harm done by its darker elements. For example, there are forums dedicated to helping drug users take substances safely, providing advice on dosages, effects, and potential risks. While controversial, these sites potentially save lives by providing information that isn't readily available on the surface web. Moreover, the dark web's potential for good isn't just theoretical. In 2014, the FBI ran a sting operation called Operation Anonymous, which targeted illegal activities on the dark web. While the operation successfully shut down many illegal sites, it also inadvertently took down several legitimate ones. This included sites that provided anonymous email services, forums for political discussion, and resources for LGBTQ+ individuals living in oppressive countries. The incident highlighted the fact that the dark web, for all its notoriety, also hosts a significant amount of legitimate, even essential content. In the end, the dark web, like any tool, is not inherently good or evil. It's a reflection of humanity itself, capable of both great harm and great good. The challenge lies in mitigating the former while enhancing the latter, a task that requires ongoing effort from law enforcement, policymakers, technologists, and users alike. In the final section, we'll explore the future of the dark web and the role we all have to play in shaping it. Its path is shrouded in uncertainty, shaped by the ever-evolving dynamics of technology, law enforcement, and user behavior. On one hand, advances in technology could make the dark web even more secure and anonymous. Quantum computing, for instance, holds the potential to revolutionize encryption, making data virtually uncrackable. This could make the dark web an even safer haven for both legitimate and illegitimate activities. On the other hand, law enforcement agencies are becoming more adept at navigating the dark web's labyrinth. They're developing new tools and techniques to track illegal activities, as evidenced by the increasing number of successful operations against dark web marketplaces. The balance of power between the hunters and the hunted is in a constant state of flux, a high-stakes game of cat and mouse that will undoubtedly continue into the future. But perhaps the most significant factor shaping the future of the dark web is us, the users. Our choices, our values, our actions. These will ultimately determine what the dark web becomes. Will we use it as a tool for freedom or a weapon for harm? Will we let it be a lawless wasteland? Or will we strive to create a space of anonymity that respects the rule of law and human dignity? The dark web is a mirror, reflecting the best and worst of humanity. It's a testament to our desire for privacy, our capacity for innovation, and our propensity for destruction. It's a reminder that technology is not inherently good or evil, but a tool that can be used for either, depending on the hands that wield it. As we stand on the brink of this digital frontier, we have a choice. We can fear the dark web, demonize it, try to eradicate it. Or we can strive to understand it, to navigate its depths responsibly, to harness its potential for good. The choice is ours, and the time to choose is now.